And I'm a volunteer here.
Start again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Lisa. I'm a volunteer here at Big Cat Rescue. And I'm excited to be here today. Usually I am guiding tours here at Big Cat Rescue on Sundays. But probably the same as you, the coronavirus has affected us here at Big Cat Rescue. Not being able to guide tours in person, I thought what a great opportunity to talk to you like this. So today, I would like you to meet our youngest cat at Big Cat Rescue. His name is Flint, Bobcat. Isn't he adorable? And you know what? Flint is coming up on his first birthday, which is very exciting.
Is he purring?
He is purring. Oh my goodness. So, what do we know about bobcats? First of all, they're called bobcats because they have a tail that is short, and bob means to make something short. And do bobcats live in Florida? Oh, he's got his tail up. Okay, respect the tail. Yes, bobcats do live in Florida. In fact, Flint is from Florida. And I want to tell you about the reason why Flint is here with us. He's doing a great job of playing peekaboo through his ferns there for you. So Flint is here at Big Cat Rescue because we have a bobcat rehabilitation program. This is a very successful program here at Big Cat Rescue. Rehabilitation means that the cats came from the wild, they need a little help, and then they go back to live in the wild. You might be asking, why? Hello, Flint. Yes, I'm talking about you.
Show.
You might be asking, then why is Flint here at Big Cat Rescue and not back in the wild if he was part of the rehabilitation program? Well, let me tell you how he got here. Flint was injured by some hunting dogs that were tracking wild boar. And when he got here, he had a lot of visits from the vet. During that time, the vet found out that he cannot pass prey through his digestive system. Do any of you know what prey means?
People are saying thank you so much for volunteering.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
And they say he's hiding,
He
and
is.
they are sharing.
He is super cute. Well, let me tell you, prey means what the animal catches, the animal that it eats in the wild. So because Flint is not able to do that with his digestive system, he cannot live in the wild. This, of course, made us all sad here at Big Cat Rescue because we know that the wild is the place that nature intends him to be.
Carol wants to know if you can touch him.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, we have a strict no-touch policy here at Big Cat Rescue. We are a sanctuary. We are not a zoo. And a sanctuary means a safe place for the cats, means they have been rescued. And we have 5 points that keep us accredited. We belong to the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. That means we don't buy, sell, or trade our cats. We don't touch them and we don't breed them. And those last 2 points are especially important because a lot of places that might call themselves sanctuaries, if they are touching or breeding, that's a really sure sign that they are not accredited. Anybody out there have an idea why we don't touch our cats?
Well, Sharon says that prey is the yucky stuff he eats.
That's true, and his favorite yucky thing would be rabbits. And I know rabbits are super cute, and that makes some of us sad. But we have to remember that it's a very balanced food cycle that happens out there in the wild, and we cannot think of it like a Disney movie. I know we all like those creatures, and we like to think that they all get along together and like a cartoon, but in the wild, that's the way it goes. And cats are top predators. They have to eat meat. They have to be carnivores.
Nancy says she wants to play with him.
Well, you know, he does look super cute. I understand that. He looks like he would be adorable and fun to play with because the thing about cats is they share a lot of characteristics. So the things that you see Flint doing here today and other cats here at Big Cat Rescue, even our bigger cats like tigers, they do a lot of behaviors that will remind you of your house cat. there is that similarity, but you cannot be fooled by the fact that they are behaving like a domestic cat, because they are not really domestic. They are wild.
I got a question, I think, from Julie asking what a predator is.
Oh, a predator is a animal, it doesn't have to be a cat, that chases and hunts its food, that captures its prey, and that's how it eats. And they are at the top of the food chain. There have to be more prey than predators for that all to be in balance.
Somebody says that's the circle of life.
Absolutely the circle of life. You're correct.
Got a lot of people saying happy birthday, Flint.
Almost. So maybe we can come back and see Flint on his actual birthday, which is March 31st. He will be 1 year old, and that would be really fun to see how he is celebrating.
How old would that be if he were a person?
That would be like 7 years old.
He'd be in second grade. Linda says she's a Flint sponsor.
Oh, thank you for sponsoring, Linda. We appreciate that. He's doing a nice job of showing us his tail right now. And there is another cat that is kind of a cousin to a bobcat called a lynx. And they have a similar tail, but a lynx's tail is going to be completely black on the tip. And you might be able to tell that he's got a little bit of white on the underside. Oh, he looks like he's ready to stalk us. You're just being too adorable today. You're being super cute. Maybe we can look over here and see what's left of his enrichment.
I got a question as to why they have to be separated.
Oh, cats actually really don't want to be together. Cats are solitary in the wild, and the only cats that live in social groups, there's only one. I'm going to ask if any of our viewers can guess what cats live in social groups. I'll give you a hint. They're called prides.
And there's like a couple minutes delay, so that's why you don't get answers right away. Meanwhile, I'm getting, what do you feed her? What do bobcats eat in the wild?
So to continue that question, so a group of cats that live in the wild are lions. They live in prides. So to finish answering that question, our cats really don't want to be together. We are mistaking the fact that domestic cats will live together. It's not the same in the wild. So the question was about what do they eat? Is that correct? What
Yes.
they eat here, or what do they eat in the wild?
This one says, what do they eat in the wild?
In the wild, they would mainly eat rabbits, but bobcats eat almost anything. They eat a lot of other things as well, birds, rodents. I understand they will even scavenge, if anybody knows what that word scavenge means.
Christine wants to know, she thought she heard a roar in the background, and who
Oh,
that is.
that was most likely our queen, Nikita. She's a lioness.
Brenda says Flint is showing us social distancing.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess he's decided he's had enough of being on film right now.
And Lee was listing the kind of cats who are native to Kentucky.
Oh.
That would be...
Well, I will tell you that's a good lead-in. We have bobcats across the United States and Canada, but there is one state that does not have any bobcats. One hint, it's surrounded by water, and they really are not very good swimmers.
See, I learned something on this today.
Hawaii! So yes, more than likely you do have bobcats in Kentucky. And we have two reasons that bobcats might be threatened. One is that people are still paying for their fur. That is the original reason that Big Cat Rescue exists, was to rescue bobcats from fur farms. And unfortunately, it has gone through some changes, but it is now mostly outside the United States who is interested in purchasing those bobcat pelts, but it's still happening. But another really big reason is habitat loss. Habitat meaning where an animal lives naturally in the wild. And as more people are moving and building, especially here in Florida, there's a lot more development going on. And what happens is people move in where bobcats used to live. And they don't understand that it's not their home anymore. So then you have some either loss of habitat or you have some conflict.
And we finally got an answer here, lions.
Yay!
And a pride.
Good job, good job. So Bobcat rehab, as I mentioned
And
before.
somebody said Hawaii, so good.
Good, because Flint did, as you heard, not graduate from that program. But you are not going to see that Bobcat rehab if you ever come here for a tour, which we're not sure when that's going to be at this point. As with many things that are happening in the world right now, we really can't give you a date for when that's going to be available. That's why we're doing this today, is to have a chance to reach out to you. But if you were here, you would not see the Bobcat rehab on the tour, because the idea is to keep them as natural and wild as possible until they are able to go back into the wild. You might wonder, why are they here? Some were injured, like Flint was. Some have some kind of illness, or some of them get orphaned. And orphan means that they are separated from their mother, and it just as it is with you in the wild, that's how they learn their survival skills. That's how they learn to be a bobcat. If they don't have a mother to teach them that, chances are they will not be able to survive. So we have had a great success rate. We have rescued, I believe, at least 50 bobcats that have been able to be released back into the wild. But of course, it has to be the right habitat. We have to release only Florida bobcats, and they have to be in the same county they were rescued in.
Misty wants to know if exotic cats have to be kept separate as well. And, this is not a question. Susan was saying that anytime there's cats together, they're spayed and neutered so that we're not breeding.
Absolutely. That's really important. Not breeding because, as I mentioned before with the bobcats, if the cat is bred to live in an enclosure, even though these enclosures are very generous and as wild as we can make them for the cats, it's still an enclosure. And if you're born in an enclosure, you can't learn how to be a wild cat. So that cat can never go back out in the wild. Doesn't have any conservation value.
Did you want to see if Nabisco is out?
We're going to go check for another bobcat.
We wore this one out.
He used to be the youngest bobcat here until Flint joined us. So we're moving up the grade levels here today of bobcats.
I'm going to follow you so that...
Okay. He's on funcation right now.
Oh, Nabisco's on
Yeah.
funcation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was wrong. There's no cat next door. Where would you like to go now?
Oh, let's see. Should we stick with bobcats?
It's your show.
All right. Follow me.
So what is funcation?
So, funcation is a very much larger enclosure, and I like to call it timeshare for cats. So, every 2 weeks, a different cat gets to spend 2 weeks there, and it is a form of enrichment. We do a lot of enrichment. In fact, here's some absolutely destroyed enrichment from Flint. Oh, he's right back to watching us. So, that enrichment is all made out of paper and cardboard. And the volunteers that make enrichment, they do a really good job. They make a lot of really cute things because it makes great videos and photographs. And for the cats, they just pretty much like to play with a box, just like house cats like to play with a box. So he had a St. Patrick's Day themed enrichment in there that he has obviously enjoyed very much and completely destroyed. Are you coming back to say hello? We're still talking about you. There's a really cute video. If you go to Facebook, to Big Cat Rescue, and check our videos, you can see what his enrichment looked like before it got torn up. It's really fun to watch. Oh, he thinks this is a fun game right here. Of course. What is that, huh? What is that right there? I don't know. You know, it's, I love being able to guide tours, but I have to say it's very peaceful here today because it is so quiet. It does, I believe, affect the cats as well. It's like they sense that all these people are not in their world right now.
Where did everybody go? Flint's the only one that cares where everybody went. I'm the only party animal here. What are those white spots on the back of its ears?
Oh, so many cats have those actually. You'll notice that tigers have them as well. They are used for a couple of reasons. One is it's believed that the mothers flash them as a signal to the young, to the cubs. And also, a lot of other animals have what looks like false eyes or eye spots. So it can be so that if something is coming up behind, it looks as if the cat is facing them rather than looking away. So fascinated with that cord.
Can you talk about the enrichment program?
Absolutely. So that enrichment program, we have lots of various enrichments besides the cardboard and paper, but they are also very scent stimulated, the cats. So anything that is interesting smell is a form of enrichment. We give them spice bags and we give them perfume tubes. And the spice bags are just a simple paper bag with some kind of interesting spice in it. They like anything from cinnamon to oregano to thyme to pumpkin pie spice and even ordinary catnip. And the perfume tubes, those are interesting. I think the Bobcats, I'm kind of questioning their taste level because they seem to really like Axe body spray, is what I've heard. But some of the other cats prefer Chanel No. 5. So it just depends on the cat.
Which side of the tracks you were born on.
Yes, exactly. We also give seasonal enrichment. And again, if you go to Big Cat Rescue, Facebook, look up videos. There are more videos, something to do with all this enforced time that you have being away from school and work. You can definitely watch lots of great videos. We give them pumpkins in October. They don't really eat them. They just tear them up and chew on them and claw them and have a really good time with them. One of my favorite cats, Jinx, the black leopard, he especially really loves pumpkins. So if you can look for Jinx when you're looking for a video, you'll see that. They also get whole turkeys at Thanksgiving, not cooked. Anybody have an idea why we don't cook the turkeys?
While you're waiting for that, they're asking who names the cats and specifically who names the rehab Bobcats.
Okay. So I know that when it comes to the cats in general, it's a combination. Sometimes they already have a name when they come here, and sometimes they're named here at Big Cat Rescue. And I don't really know the answer to that, Carol, about who names the rehabs. I assume the people who are doing the rehabbing. Is that correct?
Whoever rescued the cat, whoever went out on the rescue call, if it's a new person, they get to pick the name. Or if there's a group of people in the car, they'll negotiate all the way home.
Well, there you go. And I know there was one group that they all had like variations on colors of blue.
Yes.
That group, like Cobalt and that whole...
And Flint, because he was in the grays.
Flint.
We had Cinder and Ash.
Cinder and Ash, that's
Malachite.
right.
Kathy Barton says, so the bones won't splinter?
Good answer. Yes, when you cook the meat, it makes it impossible for them, or it would be dangerous for them to chew on the bones.
And Linda said the same thing, and Melissa said because they don't cook in the wild.
That's exactly right, yeah. Not too many kitchens and restaurants in the wild.
And they're only doing takeout right now.
Exactly. Another good seasonal enrichment for December is pine trees. But their Christmas trees don't look a lot like ours. They do not have any decorations or lights on them, obviously. And they like those because they smell really good. Pine is a really strong scent. We all, I know, even enjoy the way that the Christmas tree smells, or if we don't have real trees, we burn pine candles to make that smell happen. So they really enjoy it. They slobber on it, they rub up against it, they pee on it, all sorts of fun things they do with that enrichment. And I can't mention enough, we have so many videos of everything I'm talking about today, and there's nothing like seeing it. You can hear me describe it, but really I so encourage you to go and look at video. And I also want to make sure I mention explore.org, which is a wonderful website that has 24/7 live feed cameras all around the world, but we have also many here at Big Cat Rescue. And that's a chance for you to get a peek at Bobcat Rehab, since that is not a place that we want to take people around. You can watch remotely from that website.
Why do they bathe so much?
Well, I assume it's because they're predators, and if you have any kind of scent on you, you don't want your prey to smell you coming.
And they're asking how old he is again.
He is going to be 1 year old on March 31st, so he's almost there. Oh, look at that. That's a toy.
Ellen wants to know if it's possible to show Funcation. Funcation is a 22,000 square foot enclosure, and if you want, we can hop
Sure,
on the
we can do
cart.
that. And if we're lucky, Nabisco might be out putting on a show for us. Bye, Flint.
Yes, we're always happy to receive stuff for the Enrichment Committee. We use tissue paper. It just can't be any of that glittery stuff. Hot glue. We go through a ton of hot glue. Toilet paper tubes. I think we're probably set right now for things like, what is he playing with? If you can step through well, I can step through. I don't know which is harder. We've got this, Lisa's on a leash. So that you can actually hear her.
Just think I'm a cat, you know? Actually, cats don't like leashes. I know we especially need, because I was fortunate to have one that I could bring in, like really extra super-sized cardboard tubes that are really thick for the bigger cats, like the lions and tigers.
What were you buying that had that kind of a tube in it?
It's actually my husband's brother was doing his floor. It was some kind of like a big roll for carpet. Yeah. And everybody knows, don't throw any of your cardboard away. Bring it to me. I'm saving cardboard egg cartons right now because I think that'll make cute Easter enrichment. So,
How often do they get enrichment?
they get enrichment of some type every day, but there's various kinds. It could be the spice bag perfume tube. It could be the seasonal. It could be a sickle, which that's a very interesting enrichment. And especially as we're getting into hotter weather, that's going to be important. And also for some of our older cats, which we have many cats here that are right around 20 years old or older. So hydration gets to be very important because of their age. Any type of cat, domestic or wild, is very susceptible to kidney issues. So that hydration becomes very important, especially the older they get. So, hydration in the form of, let me help you with that. She's just doing it all. She's filming. Hydration in the form of sickles, like you might like a nice popsicle in the summer. So, give me some favorite popsicle flavors. I'll let you think on that for a moment. We're going to look and see if Nabisco is out and about. But this is Funcation, this whole area. Now, it seems as if the smaller cats, when they get in here, sometimes it's a bit...
Can someone open the large white gate, please?
Wide open for them, more than they're used to. And so if they've been in there just for a couple of days, they might tend to hang out in the back more. We could walk back that way. So anyway, getting back to sickles. Our favorite flavor here at Big Cat Rescue is blood sickle. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. Some of our cats also enjoy tuna sickles or sardini martinis. Now, cats are really good at camouflage. I'm sure many of you know what that word means. That is important for them as predators to be able to blend into their surroundings so that they can get closer to their prey without being seen. So, Bobcat's very good at camouflage. He could be lots of places, so we're going to see if we can find him.
I wish we had a camera out here to see what they do at night, because I have to believe that they have got to be like running around like crazy at night. So many places to hide.
I know, and so many opportunities. Well, maybe we'll go to the feeding lockout and take a look at that place way back here.
Maybe you can explain the feeding lockout. Oh, there he is, sleeping under a bush.
I just must have had a sixth sense that you were there, Bisco. So So this is Nabisco, and he used to be our youngest resident until Flint came along. Nabisco's about 4 years old, and he is also a bobcat, but he is not a Florida bobcat. And the reason that he's here, and also the reason that we have many bobcats here in the tour section, is that he has only ever been in captivity. If you've been in captivity, you cannot go back and live in the wild because you just do not have those skills that you need to survive.
And I apologize, but Catherine just asked if I would come over there and help her let some people in to work on Jake's case.
Sure.
So can you just hold this on him and talk?
I can. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. And do I need to do anything
just be
else?
careful not to touch this
Just
button
don't touch
or
that.
this button back here because it'll start moving the
All
camera.
right, bear
around.
with me, everybody. This is called
And
on the
you
spot
just have
training.
to move your angle, yeah, like that.
Look at
to-
that. She can be taught. I'm learning all sorts of things today, my friends. I also did my first food prep today. That was exciting. Because I am mostly a tour guide, I am in the part of Big Cat Rescue has 2 tracks for volunteers.
Your radio
Mhm.
here.
And
Catherine,
one
how
track
many
is to be a partner and one track is to be a keeper. So I am on what's called the partner side. That means that I normally give tours. I work in the gift shop and I do outreach work. I'm an educator, so that is the side of Big Cat Rescue that really, really interests me. So Susan Food Prep is on the keeper side, so it's what it sounds like. Every morning, the cats have very specific diets, and each cat has their own container, and the food has to be prepared and put in those containers for each cat. They get fed breakfast every morning. So that was very exciting to get to be on that side of things today for the first time and learn how to do that and just see how all of that works. I have been here, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the name Felicia. I have been here, this is my 2nd year. It'll be 2 full years in July. I'm a recent resident of Florida. I came from Columbus, Ohio in 2017. So loving having a chance to be here at Big Cat Rescue. I used to do what you're all doing right now, follow on Facebook and from a distance. Sorry, I got a little blurry there. So now it's really wonderful to be able to be here in person and get to see all these beautiful cats. It's just wonderful. So I'm gonna switch away from, I know he's so sweet. I'm gonna switch over here for a moment and back up just a little bit and show you what a feeding lockout looks like. So notice that there's a water dish, and notice that concrete slab there that's shaped like a square. That's where breakfast is placed every morning. And every day after feeding is done, that water dish is cleaned and that square is also cleaned off and any food remnants taken away. The reason we have feeding lockouts for the cats is it is very important time to get a lot of good, I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy. This is my first time handing this. Sorry, everybody. Let's go back to Nabisco for a minute. So back to feeding lockout. It's important to have the cats fed every day and to have them in that lockout because we can do a lot of checkup on the cat during that time. Check their eyes, ears, how they're chewing, all sorts of things, and also just to make sure that they're eating well. If they leave food, that might be something to make note of. Feeders will come back and try again later. So it is just a really good opportunity. And we do some operant conditioning to make it so that the cats do go into that feeding lockout without feeling stressed out about doing that. We want that to be something that they're okay with because there are times that we need to get into different sections of the enclosure and we need them to be able to go in there without being distressed by being in the feeding lockout. All right, I don't know if we're going to get much else out of Nabisco, but it is pretty cool to just sit and watch him sleep. He has lots of fans out there, I see. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Michelle. It's so nice. You know, it's very strange. I'm so much used to having people live and in person, and especially kids tours. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to be completely distracted now, everybody, because Jinx is out. Oh my goodness. Jinx just happens to be my favorite cat here at Big Cat Rescue. He is our black leopard. And I just think he's super handsome. Let's step over here. Sorry, Nabisco, but you're just sleeping right now. He is such a handsome boy, Mr. Jinx. Yeah, I think I have a special affinity for our Ohio cats here. Jinx was part of a rescue group of 4 cats from Ohio. And they just always do relate to my Ohio people there. I see, Ellen, that you're also a Jinx fan. So to tell you a little bit more about Jinx since we see him, he and 3 tigers, Jasmine, Sapphire, and Duchess, were all confiscated by the USDA, and they lived here for about 4 years. And during that time, they were in a type of protective custody. And during that time, we were caring for them, but we were not permitted like what I'm doing right now. I would not have been able to share this with you and talk about him. In fact, I, as a tour guide, didn't even know that he was from Ohio at that time. And we were not allowed to sell things in the gift shop with his image, various things like that. So after 4 years, on April 30th, 2019, we have finally, the case was settled. The custody battle between the owner and the USDA finally was settled, and they are permanent residents at Big Cat Rescue. Very exciting day for me. Very happy. Laurie, yes, you have good taste. Everybody loves Jinx. All right, I'm coming back to Nabisco, but guess what? He is still sleeping. He has not moved a muscle. All right. How are we doing?
They're working on his platform.
Oh, okay.
To lock him up.
Yes.
Keep him away from the people
Understood.
working on his platform.
All right, so evidently Jinx has been locked away so that they can safely work on his platform. So in addition to what we mentioned earlier about not touching the cats, we also don't get in the enclosure with the cat. It can be deceiving sometimes, the shape of the enclosures. They're rounded, they're bubble shaped, and sometimes it looks like a person might be in the same section as the cat if you look just really quickly and you're not careful. But I promise that that never happens. There are several sections to each bubble. It's like rooms in your house, and there are doors dividing each section, just like you have a door from one bedroom to the other or the bathroom. And for the same reason, sometimes we just need to shut that door and not be around everybody else. So right now that platform work is being done, and Jinx is being a good supervisor, but that's about as much as they need from Jinx right at this moment.
Wow, Nabisco never woke up, eh?
He never, but we had a nice look at the lockout, and we talked about that, and we talked about Jinx, so.
Do you want to see him while he's out?
Well,
let's go.
like twist my arm a little bit, right? I see Jinx has many other fans.
Yes. And he's looking particularly funny right now because he was laying in the sand, so he's got a big clump of sand right on his head. Whenever we lock a big cat like that up, that would be leopards, lions, tigers, or jaguars, we put 2 doors down. We put a pole through one door, and then we put snaps on the other door and a lock. So we want to make
extra precaution.
Absolutely sure he can't get that door up.
I would assume that's especially true of Manny.
Oh, man.
He's a whole nother
I went like
level.
6 doors down between me and that cat. And the wall that you guys can see behind Lisa there is our perimeter wall. So it's an 8-foot high wall to keep people from coming onto the property.
Hello, handsome.
Where did you go? You see him?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, let's go that way. We can't see you. You're hiding behind the tree.
Yes, he's hiding behind the tree. Leopard, what leopard? Oh, you do look a little bit silly with all that on your head right now. Just a little bit. Yeah. That's so handsome.
Michelle wants to know what Jinx's favorite scent is.
I have been told it's obsession. And I've also been thinking I need to get some. I'm hoping if I start wearing it on tours that he will appreciate that. He's doing a nice job of showing his spots right now, too. So he is a black leopard, and those spots go down to the skin like a tattoo. And the other cat that can be black naturally is a jaguar. Hello, handsome. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm a little bit like
Awestruck?
I've never been this close to him before. So awestruck is a good word for it. You're just so handsome. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
He likes you.
He says, I've never been this close to you either. Huh. I sang to him the other day. I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Aww.
I think he liked it.
He loved it.
He liked it, yeah.
That was a big
I'm
smile.
trying out different songs when I get a chance to sing to you.
Do you have any idea why cats like to be sang to?
Well, you know, they have that expression, music hath charms to soothe the savage beast. So I do believe that music is a very healing part of humanity. I don't know exactly why, but I just think generally speaking, music is just a very positive part of our existence. We need more music, we need more dancing, we need more art. All of the above.
I got to tell you, Jinx never comes over just to be with me, so this
Are
is
you-
really something.
Are you not just teasing me right now?
I'm not teasing you.
Oh my goodness. Because
Who's
of
he
course I
looking at?
like
He's
to
looking at
think
you.
that he knows me, but is that just me being silly? And I love your white on your paws too. I have a cat at home named Antonio who's a tuxedo cat. And I finally figured out when I first met Jinx, there's something about their expressions and the way he is that reminds me of my cat at home. And I think that's why such a bond here. Yeah.
Let's hear a shout out from everybody here who has or has had a black cat. Tell us what your black cat's name was, or how many black cats you have, how many names you have. They're asking what that is on his head.
Yeah, and I'm really resisting because I know better the urge to reach in there and brush that off of his head right now.
He likes you, but not that much.
He's got a little bit of sand. He was laying and he just got a little sand on his head.
He's been laying flat on his back.
Yeah. Trust me, my brain knows better than to ever do that. That's right. Okay, handsome. I just noticed that because I've never been this close before, his whiskers are kind of auburn, kind of brownish color.
And they can be different between different cats. We had cats before, black leopards before, that had completely white whiskers.
Oh,
Very dramatic.
interesting. Yeah, that would be.
Yours are like chocolate.
You're just so handsome. I could just sit here all day and look at you. Yes, I could. And he does that too. My cat at home sits like that with his paws. Yeah. You're very much like Tonio. Yes, you are.
Seeing lots of great black cat names here.
Yeah? What kind?
There's Smokey and Shadow and Killer, Orion.
Good ones.
They're talking about Jinx being declawed, and that's why his paws are floppy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Smudge, Batman and Jade,
Smudge is
Annie and Abby, Tina and Parker, a tuxedo cat named Sylvester.
I have
cat
a
named
Sylvester. And he was a tuxedo too. See, if I would have been here when you got Jinx, I think Bagheera would have been the ideal name.
We had a Bagheera.
Oh, you did? Okay.
That doesn't mean the names don't get used again. We're on like
That's
the
true.
third max.
Right.
I don't even know how many Cleopatras
Simba's probably a lot of Simbas.
we have. Nalas.
Aw. This is such a good boy.
Got a Sasha and Piper. Oreo and Tabitha.
Oreo's good.
Monroe. McCavity. Jasper?
The cavity. Oh, like T.S. Eliot.
Oh, I haven't. T.S. Eliot.
Yeah,
In Cats?
the Cats, the musical, but it's Old Possum's Book of Cats, right? Yeah.
And that was one of the names?
Cavity. Yeah.
Pyewackets.
Pyewacket. Oh, that's the movie. What's his name? Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak. And it's what Bewitched kind of was based on, but it was a film first.
wow.
And she was a witch, and she met Jimmy Stewart, and her cat's name was Pyewacket. It's a great movie. What's the name of that movie? Help me out if anybody knows the name of that movie. The name is escaping me right now. Bell Book and Candle, maybe? Somebody Google that for me.
Got a Cleo and Buster. Did you tell his story?
I did when we were from a distance, yeah.
There's a Pepe. Yeah, everybody's saying it's such a treat to have a Zen moment with this cat.
I know. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you're all enjoying this as well.
Captain Midnight, Bebbers and Sumpy, Jackson, Adolf, Bell, Book, and Candle.
Yeah, so okay.
Good memory.
If you've never seen it, it's excellent. Excellent movie.
Actually, a lot of people seem to have known it here.
And now's a good time to catch up on movies.
Laurie says I'm in heaven right here now.
I'm willing to share, Laurie. Oh,
You're killing me.
This right here, this. Oh my goodness.
That's so precious. He has sand on his head.
But you don't mind, do you? No, you don't mind. It's all good. Oh, and I fixed your breakfast for tomorrow, by the way. Yeah, I fixed your bucket. I did.
We have a question as to whether or not he can be released.
Unfortunately, no. And that is true of every cat that you will see if you come on a tour, because you won't see the Bobcat rehab section. Those are the only cats that can be released. Jinx would be native to Asia. And for instance, there's one reason, but we also cannot release him in Asia because he's only ever lived in captivity. He would have no idea how to survive in the wild, and he's been declawed. So that would complicate matters further. He would not be able to survive very well. The cats here have all been fed. They don't even understand that things that move are food that they're supposed to chase. They will chase because that's an instinctual behavior. Some of that stalking and pouncing, they're just going to do that naturally. But when they do have encounters with native wildlife, that's about all it amounts to. They don't understand that they're supposed to eat it.
And we got somebody that said the book was actually called Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered.
Oh, that's a song. If I can think how that goes now.
And some people are saying he looks like he's waiting for you to tell him a story.
Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I. Can't remember who wrote that. So you're all making me think of all these things. Now I have to go home and look that song up, but that is a song.
You have a beautiful voice. No wonder the cats like to listen
Oh,
to it.
thank you.
We're going to have to make this like musical mornings with this.
And that's entirely possible.
So what we've been talking about here at the sanctuary is, since we're currently on lockdown and we're not doing tours, are there ways that we can create like regular topics and times so that you guys know when to tune in? And so having a Kids for Cats section with Lisa, because you're a teacher in your world, so that she can talk to kids about what they want to know about these cats so they can be learning while they're also in lockdown.
Right.
And she just inspired another great idea, which is we'll have a musical. And Brittany's going to start going out in the mornings when they do the morning meds and feeding, and do it every morning at, I think she said 8:30. So we'll get together a lineup of things that you guys can be sure and tune in for.
That sounds wonderful.
Well, it's you guys making it happen, so thank you. This is how he got sand on his head.
No, he's quite brown underneath. See, I've never seen this side of you before, Jinx. This is a real treat.
personality side or the belly side?
Yeah. Some of each. Well, I have to say, I know it's probably wrong to be happy about this, but I guess there's a silver lining to every cloud, right? And I know a lot of people are suffering out there, but it certainly is peaceful here today at Big Cat Rescue.
I think it's going to change everything about how we operate in the world, which could be really good as far as, you know, like a much lower carbon footprint for all of us.
Yeah, I agree. My biggest fear is that they'll stop picking up garbage and recycling.
Yeah,
That's
that
the one thing
is
to worry about.
frightening.
Hopefully not. Oh, you handsome boy with sand on your head.
Did you happen to talk about the difference in adaptations between longtails like his and bobtails on the bobcats?
Oh, I did not, but that's a very good point.
I missed a big part of what you had said earlier.
That's all right. And I do always make sure when we're on tours, do you want to walk down and see if Manny's out?
Sure.
No?
No, really, we can do that.
Okay.
We just need to stay way back from him because he is...
The reason I say that is that's something I always make sure I discuss on tours is the difference between leopards and jaguars. Because
yeah, I saw
usually
you.
they're both spotted and you can...
Yeah.
And often there's confusion, which is a leopard, which is a jaguar. And one of the real telltale traits is that really long tail on a leopard. And that's because they're tree climbers. Bye. So that acts as a counterbalance, like a rudder when they're climbing trees. And their other adaptation is they stash their prey in trees. So if you imagine, especially in Africa, there's African leopards and Asian leopards both.
Oh, here comes
I just
Manny.
want to make sure, yeah,
He's
have
sneaking
eyes,
up on you
eyes
right
on
there.
The man. There he is. You're very sneaky.
We saw you.
So an African leopard especially will take that prey, like an antelope or a zebra, up and stash it in the tree limbs to keep it away from lions and other predators. Yes. I have great respect for Manny.
We're staying way back from him.
But notice how much shorter Manny's tail is than Jinx's tail was. And he does have spots, and it's not as easy to see on Jinx because of the dark fur, but a leopard's spots are going to be a lot closer together and smaller. And notice the shape of Manny's head. That's why we're standing way back here. So he's got
you
that
in one bite head.
massive head, and especially the jaws. That bite pressure is like, what is it? Like 100 times our bite pressure, 1,000 times. I don't have my exact numbers, but it's extraordinary. So it looks like he has food stored in his cheeks. That's not what that is. That's muscle. That's the power to be able to crunch right through skulls. And he's just a lot more compact, lower to the ground, a little stockier than a leopard. And jaguars would be native to South America. Central America, somewhat. There might be a few left in the southwestern United States, probably not many. So a different habitat also than leopards.
We got a random question
Yes.
here. How's Romeo?
I think he's doing well.
He's on the camera.
Yeah. And that explore.org camera, if you were not with us earlier, that's a good way to check in on Bobcat Rehab. That is, explore.org is a website that has 24/7 live feed cameras. You can check in on Bobcat Rehab, Nikita Lioness. You can check in on Vacation Rotation. I believe Amanda Tiger's on vacation right now, and checking that camera is probably going to be the only time you're really going to get a look at Amanda, because Amanda really doesn't care about you. And also you can check out Tiger Lake, which is right across from the gift shop, and that's shared by Duchess and Priya Tigers. And Kitten Cabana. How can I forget Kitten Cabana?
The favorite one.
That's a favorite. And there are, I understand, very cute new kittens in there, which probably when I get done with this live feed, I'm going to be go play with. So if you're thinking about volunteering, I highly recommend it, because then you too can come and play with foster kittens.
Lori wants to know why he's pacing.
I believe it's because Manny came from a zoo, and he and Natalia Leopard. Now, not typical way that we obtain the cats here. They're usually rescued, but this was considered a better situation for them. The zoo was really trying to improve their enclosures. It was in Omaha, Nebraska, and they felt that we offered a better situation for these cats. So that's just something you'll see out of cats who've spent time in zoos, is that pacing, because they are kept in such a way that they always have to be on display when they're in a zoo situation. He's also probably really hoping we're going to get a little bit closer.
Yeah.
To him.
He's like, no, those shirts aren't allowed back here. They don't know the rules.
I know,
right? I can get that one.
That one's new. Oh, dear. You know, I do wonder, I know that, yeah, you know, cats and dogs both, they don't see color the same way we do, but I do wonder if it's tone of voice, if it's I smell different from everybody else. I think that they absolutely do recognize the differences between us. And of course, I like to think Jinx knows who I am. I don't have anything. You should have seen him when I had that bucket the other day. I was washing signs around the sanctuary. You know, it's a chance to do extra cleaning, just like I've been doing at home, you know, with all this downtime. And I was carrying soapy water in a bucket, which is the same bucket that we feed all the tigers and the big cats out of. So I was getting stocked on a regular basis.
Somebody's asking how big his claws are, so it might be an opportunity to talk about the fact that you can't see their claws when they're walking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know, and I hope I never have the opportunity to find out how big his claws are. Much like your house cat is the same, the claws are retractable. They don't come out when they're walking. And he does have all his claws, by the way. And he has not been neutered, as you can usually tell. You know, he's usually happy to show that off. We do not neuter or spay the cats unless there's a medical need to do it, or unless they are living together. And for the most part, our cats do not live together. We have had a few situations. We have a few bobcat pairs, and we, those of you that have been following us for a while may remember Cameron and Zabu. That was our lion and white tiger couple. And so obviously if cats are together, we don't want that breeding to happen.
So if we head out through that gate, we can show how big his cage is, because he'll probably follow us.
Oh, yes.
That's one of the things people are always worried about, is cage size, because they only see what's in this 4-inch screen.
I was going to say, I'm not getting that close.
Yeah, we'll run into a tunnel too.
Is that good?
Good enough. So this is the other side of the funcation. And the way the cats go on funcation are these tunnels across the road. So you guys saw Manny come through there, and he went through his tunnels. I think this is like his favorite spot.
Yes.
Oh, there's your bite force.
Uh-huh. Was I right? Was it 1,000 or 100 times? I'm terrible at math.
It's
100,
1,500 PSI. Yeah, 10 times.
I don't teach math. Oh, good. Armani's out. This will really give you a chance to compare, because her coloring is similar to Manny. So you'll really be able to see the difference that she is a leopard and he's a jaguar. Hello, sweet girl. Oh. Hello.
Oh dear. I don't know when your voice came off of here, but
Hold something.
if you can just push on that side of the phone, so when I push.
Okay, here we go.
All All right, now you should be able to
All
hear
right,
me
we're
some
back.
better.
All right, make sure we didn't miss that. This is our Manny Leopard, and this is a really good opportunity to compare her to Manny, who you just saw, because she has similar coloring. But take a look at this tail. How nice and long it is. And notice how much smaller her head is than Manny's. And those spots are much smaller and closer together. Very distinct. When you see them side by side, you can really see the difference. So our Manny is an example of an African leopard. So leopards are found in Africa and Asia.
And I just lost all of our comments. You don't see them. Nope, I don't want to make a comment.
All right.
Well, we may be at the end of our
This
rope
might be
here.
our cue. Well, it's been really wonderful spending time with you today, and hopefully this will just be the first of many. And if you have young children at home, be happy to be part of our Kids for Cats, which will be an upcoming feature at Big Cat Rescue. Thank you very much. Have a perfectly awesome day.
I love that.
Hello, sweet girl. How you doing?